receive help from any of your other teammates, it's just too risky. You can get cut off too easily as well. So typically you don't see those roamers.
Interesting point then from our first game that these two played.
Right.
Remember, they played together, they played against each other off stream as our opening game of today's tournament. They played Cafe and Oregon. Lucky7 won both of them almost flawlessly. The third map was going to be, if it went that far, Clubhouse, but it didn't need to go that far.
Wow. So this is almost identical, the only difference being Oregon.
Yeah, the only difference being Oregon is now replaced with Bank. Cafe has been pushed into the third place spot, and this is the one that's coming through. So, I mean, Lucky7, having done so well with this very similar map selection in the past, got to be feeling good about having 2 of those 3 maps back in the pool.
I want to say this Lucky7 is in an advantageous position because they already played Supremacy on 2 of these maps, or 1 of these maps, but almost 2. And you know, they won 2-0. But I'm just having flashbacks to the match on PC and A yesterday. F3 versus FE. FE wins 2-0, and then they get a rematch in the loser bracket, and then F3 wins 2-0. You know, anything could happen here, especially, and you have to remember Lucky7. It's entirely possible, or sorry, rather Supremacy, it's entirely possible that they read what Lucky7 was doing on this map from last time, and then they're going to be more prepared going into this this particular round.
I am intrigued by this setup here from Supremacy.
I don't know what's going on here. I think maybe they're just trying to... Okay, so we talked about earlier. There's a lot more breachability in this current meta of the game, what with Hibana being added to the roster of the attacking team. I think what's happening here is they're trying to force out some of those breach charges, a Thermite or a Hibana, on the garage. That's what I'm guessing here. They're trying to just waste that utility to maybe save 1 or 2 of the drops. And I honestly question the usefulness of this particular strat, because we have seen a lot of teams, instead of doing something like that, simply wait downstairs. And yes, the attackers can open everything, but you could still safely defend the site regardless. But we'll see if this works out for them or not.
They do move the Bandit away, and they leave Zephyr up here now alone. And with his only way back down that ladder, cut off by a prox, that was kind of the only outcome that was going to happen there.
Yeah.
So what do they do with the Bandit then? He snuck away, he is still alive, he is upstairs, but he is met by a Buck, who killed him with his breaching shotgun. Yes, Supremacy. I mean, maybe they're trying to play their own game. Maybe they're trying to do the weird stuff and surprise them. I don't think so.
Attackers dropped the diffuser.
But to me, neither of those players were doing anything weird. They were kind of standing in the, standing out in the open, exposed. They didn't return fire at all. I don't know if you guys noticed, but there was they didn't shoot back. They both saw the person shooting at them. They even, or maybe they didn't see the person, but they saw the tracers, and they didn't try to retaliate. It was a little weird. Both of them floating around, not actually sitting in a position. But
Spark's now floating around too.
I've seen this had great success.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
But it really shouldn't.
It shouldn't. No, definitely not. It's probably not going. Okay, another rover. Or no, he got shot down in through the floor.
Oh, and a quick flick around to find Skyboot too. He's doing a lot of work to shut these out, but his team are all dead downstairs.
He's gonna have to get the ace.
Now he's going to have to go down, get the ace, and do it with a shotgun, which on this basement is not easy to do. It's a very big spread out site, and he can't get through that Blackbeard shield. So that will be attackers winning round number 1. Lucky7, you saw the very aggressive out there play that Supremacy were putting down, and you cancelled it out very quickly and rapidly.
It wasn't even hard. Okay, so when you're dealing with defense, especially at this level, you have to accept that you're not allowed to just randomly peek out a door. It's an issue a lot of teams face on attack. Sometimes they'll stall out because all they'll do is they'll just scan a doorway or a window and just hold their ADS down and move from left to right, see if they can't see anyone in any of the angles. And the way to do it on defense is to just not be sitting in any of those angles, and you force them to meet you at a 90-degree angle on the door or the window or what have you. And, you know, that, if nothing else, wastes their time. And you're on defense. That's your objective. Run down the clock. And what we saw from Supremacy was their 2 roamers, instead of trying to waste time, they were just floating around in their positions. Maybe they just didn't get where they were trying to go quite fast enough. But it didn't seem like that to me. It just seemed like they were kind of unsure of what they were doing.
Oh. The drones coming out from the now attacking Supremacy lineup as the last minute setup goes through from Lucky7.
5 seconds
Prepping
remaining.
themselves in, rotate holes made through to A and B. This reinforcement, I like this one at the front here of the corridor so they can't rush in from the bottom staircase. Fully reinforced church wall, nothing on blue, not the end of the, oh, one on blue, okay, nice as well. And a rotate hole being made here. This looks very familiar to me as a PC player.
Oh yeah, no, this is very standard PC setup, but you know it's also their setup just as much as it's ours. It makes sense. It's got pretty much a full dynamic. You can do anything you want with the site. You can also some teams, that wall that you were talking about that you like having set up. I agree. I think that's a wonderful wall to set up. But some teams tend to leave it unreinforced so that they have the option to kill anyone who's trying to breach into the church wall. But doesn't look like that's what Supremacy is going to try. They're going to breach their way into the tunnel instead.
Or at least they're going to give themselves an opening, which I like, and having Thermite and Hibana gives you the option to do, but
they could do
when
all the
Hibana
things.
is the one watching the hole...
This doesn't make any sense. She's used one of her gadgets so far. I think she probably opened the kitchen drop based upon her proximity to it.
You sure that's not just one loaded in the barrel, two
Oh, yeah,
left?
that's entirely possible. Yeah, sorry.
I mean, I'm willing to trust you, but I also don't know how this works in spectate mode. There's so many different gadgets that display in different ways.
Yes, okay, so that was, you were right. That was one in the barrel, and there it is.
There we go. Okay, so she hadn't done it, but yeah.
But she wasted a good solid 30, 25 maybe seconds over there.
Yeah, just staring at that back tunnel, which now now that she's moved away from it, nobody's replaced her. So opening up is, I don't know.
Well, they're not going to flank necessarily from tunnel.
No, but putting some pressure. Okay, Rafael is going to pressure from there.
There we go.
All right, so she was just watching it while he was doing things inside, and now that he's done inside, they've swapped positions. Okay, I sort of understand it a bit better, but yeah, still could have done another operator and saved some time.
Anyone else. But now, 1 minute, 20 seconds, no real pressure has been applied. They have opened up the drop downs and the tunnel, but they haven't actually made any progress, and they're getting pretty close to running out of time here. And this is why, again, you know, you don't want your guy who's opening up stuff to be taking too long.
Yeah, but they are open. They have lost their Capitao, but they are down to a minute, and they've got to push into the sites. Lucky7 are playing very static and very comfortable down here because they've had no real pressure put on them at all.
And that Capitao, the lack of him without those fireballs and those grenades, or even those smokes, that's going to remove a ton of pressure just by itself.
Pulse still under the kitchen, checking through the drop door above him. Having it open does obviously put some pressure on, but when you get a pulse in, you think, no, there's nobody any near it. That pressure is removed. But he does now have heartbeats of the person in his front staircase. Goes with the C4 out, throws it around the corner. Boom! Down goes Spark. Ironic, a little bit.
Just kind of, partially, yes.
Sangirl then comes down to replace him in the front staircase. The heartbeat is blocked. The pre-fire there from Skybu through the smoke, but doesn't touch anyone because no one's actually rushing through it. Bibu, though, is above the trapdoor, and Heracor spots him but can't kill him, loses his head to it. Meanwhile, though, Amaze finishes Rafael off, and Skybu does finish off Sangirl and spins around just in time to help with the Bibu kill through the drop. And Lucky7 are continuing their trend of comfortably beating Supremacy.
Now, this is worrying to see. I don't know if you guys can see this, but what I see here is Supremacy stalling out. They're just not taking the initiative. They're not going for anything at all. They're not challenging their angles. They're just kind of stalling out and waiting to die almost, it seems like. It's worrying to see. Lucky7 on the other hand, good amount of aggression, so coupled with defense at the same time, and get those picks nice and easy.
So now it's time for them to go back onto attack. Let's see if Supremacy trying these crazy things all over again, because quite frankly they were weird and didn't even come close to working. Let's see if they go back to a more standardized defense and if it treats them any better. These reinforcements on the garage and the double room is up and around there, and it
doesn't look like they're going to be doing it this time.
No, I don't think so, and I like that. That's better.
It's basically, they wouldn't have time for it anyway. And Spark is reinforcing the drop down there, so that's good. Get a little bit more basic. They also happen to have an Echo. Now, Echo hasn't been played quite as much as Hibana, but he has made a couple of appearances. His I'm not sure why people don't favor him. I think he brings an excellent kit, especially for clutch situations. He's pretty much on defense as far as defenders go. I'd say next to Smoke, he's one of the best operators to clutch with because he can give himself information, disorient the enemy, even though that's a little bit more difficult to do than I'd like. And at the same time, he's also got a lot of HP.
The only difference is, and we've already talked about this in the past with the Blackbeard, is that the headshots are less prominent here on console.
Well, of course,
and the FP5's silence reduced damage to the chest.
Apparently that one, it does reduce damage to the chest, yeah, but it does actually have a pretty high base DPS.
It is. It's not as awful as if you stick a silencer on a normal MP5.
Right.
But yeah, it's
I've done that, by the way.
every little counts.
Don't do
that.
Like, Suppressor's great.
Then
Maybe
again, have you seen how overpowered P90 silence can be?
Oh
just
my
saying,
gosh.
just saying, pretty damn pleased with that.
Dude, 5 damage.
That is my,
It does
that is
5
my,
damage.
I know what it does, and that is my jam. I have
did.
pulled off a multiple 1v5 with that weapon. Beautiful.
I bet that was fun, yeah.
Oh, it was brilliant. It's so satisfying. It's such a bad gun, but getting a 1v5 or just pulling off an ace with it feels the best.
I think I got a 3K a while back with it doesn't matter. Let's watch the let's watch this.
Let's watch this right now. Oh yeah, we're doing
That's a nice
doing a job here. I forgot about that.
Oh, what? I'm not sure. what are you talking about?
Notice here we did have some players very aggressively in the back tunnel defending it here from Supremacy, but other than that they have stayed a little bit more downstairs. Ezen bringing this black bit down the blue and engine corridor. Does catch the Jaeger dancing across the gap. Will now look for Valk camera zipping around above him before heading a bit further down. Trapdoor above has blown, and that's what forced the Jaeger to dive deeper in towards the blue site itself. And that was this man here. This was Ericor that blew it on open.
A lot of the defense here by Supremacy is pivoted on holding blue. And if they lose it, their backs are exposed. Sangro's not even watching the draw. This is worrying. He is exposed, technically. Or never mind, he's not at all. The wall isn't breached.
Yep, the wall is not breached and it is reinforced. Ash Charges making a hole here into the gold armor section of Armory. Clear corridor, church wall fully reinforced. Prox can actually run straight into gold. Bibu is so far up the construction tunnel that he can go straight in there. She gets spotted out.
No one can stop Ash if she just decides to go in there.
She should. I think she just realized that. She rushes straight in. She's going to be able to fight Sangor with a really, really strong position. Here we go. In she goes. She's inside B.
This was a mistake. Whether or not it works out for them, this was a huge mistake by Supremacy.
They know that Valkyrie's inside tunnel. Blackbeard just kills Raphael. Zephyr now, they're pushing Buck in to try and take down the shotgun. I don't like that. Should just let her come out and use the range, your advantage, but he falls down. Sangor will drop then to the Ash. Ash now looks for Bibu. Again, he's getting closer. Just fall back, dude. Use the range you have. That's never going to work. I don't understand that. Lucky7 had a great setup. They had a great idea, and then they threw people away by trying to push a shotgun.
And yeah, like you said, it was a good job by Lucky7 to make their way in there. But, and again, I say this, like, regardless of the fact that Supremacy won that round, that was a huge mistake. I mean, it was followed up by 2 mistakes from Lucky7, which were even more heinous. But allowing Ash to just walk in there, just no opposition whatsoever, no one even in Armory. They rotated back in eventually to retake it, but at the time there was no one in Armory, and they just got to drop down the kitchen drop, walk in through the hallway, and if they had played it right, they probably would have won that round. Just get the plant, play it from far out, use your rifle advantage against the shotgun, and I don't know, they didn't do that, but anyway, don't let people walk into your site. That's the moral of the story.
Yeah, that's where it is. But okay, Supremacy are on the board, so that's going to feel good for them.
Yep.
As it is now, though, Lucky7 have to defend the bar. This could be where Supremacy level it out. This is not an easy site to defend. It's also a site which we're used to seeing a more common brought back Montagne strat. Instead, though, Spark is going with the Recruit Shield.
Wait. Recruit Shield?
Yeah.
Huh. You know, I haven't seen Recruit Shield since Recruit Shield was ridiculously overpowered. Way back when they were 2 armors. You remember that?
Yep, yeah, I remember those days.
That was so fun.
That was pretty dumb.
You could have a shield that could walk around the map. He could get to every nook and cranny in the map, and it was because of his speed, entirely because of his speed that he was so broken. Because Montagne, Blitz, they're limited in that when you make a decision to go somewhere, and if it turns out to be a bust, if it turns out to be a waste of time, then you might just lose the round because of that. But anyway, Recruit Shield.
Could go anywhere he wanted.
You can't anymore.
But like I like the idea of shielding this bomb site. I like the idea of trying to plant behind it, taking control of B.
But a Montagne.
But with Montagne in this meta, why not?
Yeah, this makes no sense. I mean, okay, you've got 2 things that help you with this. You still have those smoke grenades, so you can lay down the cover for yourself in stock. But you also have an Ash who has that, so no. And then you do have that grenade, so you can clear out anyone sitting in the corner or barbed wire. But you also have a Capital, so no. You don't need both those pieces of utility on your shield operator, especially when they're exposing themselves to using them. Yeah, Montagne, please.
As it is, though, they have to clean out the floor above, and Bibu is starting to do that. He's chased Lucky7's bandit down and away from the cash room, because that's where he was sat, and he was going to obviously cause a nuisance from above where that shield and that plant was going to go. Inside the site, they have got a smoke in here, so even a Montagne cannot stand up against those charges. They need to shake him out first. So they have a little bit of work ahead of themselves no matter what shield they choose. Let's see how they choose to progress from here. He's made a couple of holes in the floor. That Ashen's trying to get a sightline on Sky Boot from below. Just checking out front. Batteries are going down, so that's going to open up the garage wall in a moment when the Thermite makes his way through there. The door is currently still reinforced, so that allows him, but Aizen's coming from underneath, and that could be catastrophic.
Well, they should have a Claymore on the top of the stairs, and they do. I don't think he'll be able to shoot that Claymore no matter what.
No, so we did some tests when it first came out. There is no way to shoot that Claymore when you plant it behind the blue thing. But he has a C4, and he sees Rafael sit right there.
Oh!
Perfect combination. The Valk camera was never found. He could see him the whole way. He knew about it. What I was going to say is that if you plant the Claymore behind that little blue box, but still planting the ladder, the only way to kill it is if the person rotating has C4 or an impact nade that you can throw at the corner.
And it, that happens to have that.
And on top of it, as I said, he sees the Thermite sitting behind the box. It's a double whammy. He can now rotate up there and kill someone else, and he gets the Thermite, which is his entire job. So he can die a happy man now.
He saw Bibu.
Bibu jumps over the edge just before he walks into Aizen's crosshairs. He did get the wall open though. Thermite's already done that, so it's just less of a win for the Valkyrie. She can check her camera again in a moment, see that Ash is looking the wrong way, step up behind her, and we don't know if Bibu will hear it. The plant's going down. Bibu does kill Erakor and now back away. He is cautious of the ladder, but not openly.
Attackers are activating the bomb.
Okay, so what just happened there was the recruit shield decided to plant for himself, putting his shield on his back so he wasn't exposed, or at least not terribly so. And then makes a little bit more sense why they chose not to pick Montagne, because Montagne could have done that, yes.
Bibu's going to cross to the top of the ladder now. If Ash comes up, Val comes up, she's dead. Doesn't matter. Aprox just runs in the front door and takes him out. Blackbeard now outside. He's going to get flanked around the side by Aprox, and he will fall. The recruit shield is the only man standing. He is tucked very close to the outside of the bomb. The diffuser is still down. They're going to know exactly where he is. There's a shotgun on the Valkyrie, though. She's going to come running around. Oh, downs one, but finished off by the second. Aprox with the kill, begins the defuse, and has more than enough time in the world. Aizen gets the credit. And sorry, it's not a shotgun, it's an PX, but still.
Yeah.
The combination of both was enough, and Lucky7 with a good retake.
Yeah, it was a good play by Lucky7. And so the thought process they had there with that shield was, okay, we're gonna have the shield wielder plant the bomb, so we don't need the extended shield because that's redundant. So we'll bring the grenade and the smoke just so we have the extra utility, so we can use it to get rid of the guy in the corner and lay down our own cover. And it makes sense, I guess, for that specialized purpose. But I would have honestly preferred to see a Montagne extend shield and then have somebody plant behind him. I mean, I get the solo plant idea; it's a little bit more, so you have more cover. But I don't think it was necessary. And hey, look at that!
Yeah.
Defenders protect the bombs from being
So,
as it is though, Lucky7 continues to stretch out their lead. Supremacy having one downstairs earlier on and now forced to go to the bar themselves. And look what Lucky7 has brought along! Woo! So we'll see whether or not they can make use of it well. As it is, you mentioned they've got Cap and Tower, they've got Ash, they can get through the barbed wire that's here themselves. They've got an Ash for the smoke grenades. See if they can do it properly, see if they can execute it. And maybe Supremacy knows something here that we don't, and they have a perfect, flawless counter Montagne strat here, which is why they don't run it. And if they do show us it now, if they execute it perfectly, we'll understand why they did something different.
Well, if they do have it, they will show it now, because this is make it or break it time right now for Supremacy.
Yeah, exactly. If they come down to being on match point this early in a series, it's a painful place to be. So,
unfortunately, it would reinforce the stigma and put them back into the trend of losing 2-0 to, or rather at least losing in general to Lucky7, and that's not where they want to be. They need to make this first map count.
And as I said, it's even more important because they didn't play this first map in their first game. The second map they're about to play, Cafe Dostoyevsky, was played in their first best of 3 against the squad, and Lucky7 won it.
Yeah.
So, to lose the surprise map and then have to fight a map which you've already lost on today doesn't feel good. This I'm not such a fan of, the P9.
Yeah, no, the revolver is pretty miserable because it has 6 bullets, right? But the P9 is terrible. It is, oh my gosh, it's probably one of the worst pistols. It's got to be the worst pistol in the game.
Like, Montagne these days, you don't shoot your gun, you're extended. And if you're not extended, it's because they're right on your face, in which case you can hip fire them with 6 bullets easily.
Yeah, I was about to say, you do shoot your gun if they're right in front of you. And we saw a lot of situations in North America earlier, or North America PC.
Aizen picks up Zephyr, he blows the wall open from Garage and takes out the man in Lounge.
But yeah, on Montagne, you often do shoot your revolver, but only point blank.
Oh, and a second one as Bibu exposes his backside, trying to run into the site. Now let's ride on board with Montagne, who can come straight up to the door. Sangrel is still inside, so he's using these flashbangs to take out the trophy system. Does flash himself, but he also flashes Sangrel here. Smokes are going down from multiple angles. Smoke charges going out by the defensive team, but more flashbangs, more EMPs going in. Sangrel can't see what is what right now. Throws another smoke grenade out, but with a minute 20 on the clock, these are all going to be used up long before the round is close to done. And Aprox is picking off Sangrel's teammates around him in every angle. He takes Rafael and Spark at the same time. And now Sangrel is alone against 5, and they don't even need the Montagne. Amaze picks him off, and that's it. 4 rounds to 1. Supremacy are collapsing.
Yeah, Lucky7 brought the Montagne to force their way into the site, but in the end, it didn't matter. All of the players playing around it, the support characters for that stock hold, they just ended up getting picked off, not winning their engagements. And that's all it really comes down to in that situation. Also, I don't know what happened with Bibu exposing himself to the garage door, or sorry, the garage wall angle. He knows that that's open. He had to have seen it or heard it. I'm not sure what he was thinking. I mean, free kill, taking away a pulse, which is huge in that situation, especially with a Montagne.
Downstairs go Lucky7 for what could be their last defense of this map.
I honestly, like, they're defending downstairs now. That's got to be the death sentence. I mean, Lucky7 has been having luck. They've been winning their downstairs holds, but moreover, they've been winning the rest of their stuff here. And it seems like Supremacy's in an dismal state. I'm not sure what is happening, but the way it looks like Supremacy is going to be 5-1ing this, moving into the second map, which is...
What are you doing, Lucky7? You sent 4 players upstairs. One doing stock, one doing kitchen, one going all the way out into strip club.
They're going to have Roamer in Pulse, but Bibu is going to see that.
Drone does get scouted, killed off though, so where are you going to adjust to?
He's probably going to run away. He's not going to risk it.
No, he's going to risk it, and he's bringing
Wow.
Ericor over here with him. Ericor's aggressively peeking. Oh, this is confident. Oh, look at this.
I hope that, yeah.
Client side, love it.
I hope that this isn't a little bit of cockiness here. I really want them to...
No, less than 10 seconds. That's not even particularly cocky. Skybu also backs away a little bit himself. He does find another drone in here and melee it out, but it wasn't active, so he feels like he's safer.
It looks like Skybu's going to try and stay in strip club, probably just tease the attacking operators or attacking team as much as possible. Waste as much time as he can.
So
they're still trying to hunt him.
Yeah, more drones are scouting around him. Haven't quite found exactly on him yet. Now Bibu has. He'll miss the drone, but make his way out to the little room. Still can't kill the drone.
You got this, Skybu. I believe in you.
Chooses the right choice here, which is to get and ignore the drone and get back into bar. But Zephyr is on the far side of the bar, already looking at the alleyway. And this is why you try not to roam in strip, because this is your only way out.
In general, this is why you typically don't roam. Yes, in strip, absolutely, but also in basement defense. Roaming in basement defense, it's the same thing no matter where you go. Upstairs, strip, cache, you're isolating yourself and sticking yourself in a 1v5, and the only way you can actually be useful is if the attacking team makes the mistake of trying to force you out of there. Yep. Otherwise, all they have to do is stick one guy to watch you or a claymore, and eventually you have to peek out. Sure, you neutralize one person, but it's just not enough. It's not worth it.
They have used a minute and a half of the round, but ultimately that was not a whole lot. While those guys were chasing him out with 2 drones and Zephyr 1 man watching the door, the rest were clearing the other portions of the map. They're ready now to focus downstairs. They're ready now to put their pressure on the actual bomb sites themselves, and ultimately that pulse that could have been sitting there underneath the kitchen and tracking them around there, C4ing, or even just keeping information on the stairs, right? Once that trapdoor in the kitchen is open, everyone near B is terrified of who could be peeking it. Am I going to get dropped on? But with a pulse standing in there, the heartbeats are all you need. If there's nobody there, there's nobody there. Nobody has to be scared.
We saw that from Lucky7 previously on their basement defense. They had a pulse that had complete control of the basement.
Zephyr, however, has got a kill, or got himself killed by a prox. He was here inside blue, and he picked up that Capital kill. Smoke charges going off elsewhere. Sangrel right at the bottom of the staircase, pre-placed that with good teamwork. Placing this from over here and then calling it out when it needed to plant it. He's in blue, he's nowhere close. But Sangrel was forced back a little way from it, and that delayed the thermite charge too, because he didn't want to plant it without Sangrel's cover. Thermite charge now goes off on Church. Thatcher down to half health. Rafael is the man with the diffuser. He's now in the memorial as another smoke charge goes off by the hole they just made.
Only 20 seconds left. They have to get this plant.
Sangul does get a procs. That's the smoke down over the way from blue. Thermite now looking to come forward. 15 seconds on the clock as he pushes in. One behind the bomb. It's a Valkyrie, but she kills him off, and that's the diffuser drop. Makes it even tougher. Spark picks it up. Killed just before he gets in cover. Bibu now going to go and do the same thing. Sangul's down. Bibu's the last man standing. Gets a kill of his own. Sangul finishes one off before he got down. It's now 1v1. The plant's going to go through, but he cannot pull off it in time. Jaeger can just sprint into the site. Doesn't know where she's planting. Thinks it's in the back corner. It's to her left. If he doesn't see it before she pulls off, he's going to stand up right next to her. Ash didn't know where Jaeger was. And Lucky7 going to get the defuse after all of that.
What an amaze clutch by amaze. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, that was honestly kind of embarrassing to watch.
Yeah.
You got to check the whole site, man. I understand that it makes sense. You know, he's probably going to be planning a dark spot. It makes sense, but don't want to risk
I'm embarrassed for Bibu, in all honesty, after pulling off the diffuser and not managing to kill the Jaeger in those
in front of him.
3 seconds where they literally headbutted each other. That's got to suck, but as it is, Lucky7 1-0 up, and we said they won with very convincing fashion against Supremacy in their first game in the early round of this very tournament. And now they've just gone straight through and done that straight away again onto, like, Supremacy going into our next map here is not going to be confident.
I was about to say, mentality-wise, okay, you lost 2-0 versus these guys. You got a chance of redemption, and you're going in a map you've never played before. But you still get 5-1. You cannot. I cannot imagine Supremacy going to be able to like come back from this. But if they do, it'll be quite something to see. And I really want to know if maybe they can bring it back on Cafe. They did lose on Cafe previously, as we talked about earlier. But anything is possible. Oh, the C4.
Beautiful. That was really quite nice. So, time now to take stock, to reset, and to figure out what the hell's going to happen on Bank. Because we have not seen an Xbox game on Bank for many, many moons. And looking at the way these guys have played, Lucky7 just...
Oh, it's Bank next?
Yeah, it's Bank next. Cafe's the decider.
Oh, okay. So we are going to be going to Bank, and like you said, we don't really. Xbox typically doesn't play Bank. It's not a very prevalent map, and maybe just maybe Supremacy happens to have a little bit more of a refined touch with Bank. Maybe they've invested that time, even though nobody else wants to play it. Maybe they're just more familiar with it, and they'll be able to bring it to the deciding map on Cafe. I don't know. Anything's possible. Lucky7 though, they are in quite a stride. You can tell by the way they're playing. They seem to know what they're doing. They seem to know who they're playing against, and they're very confident.
So let's see where it is. Lucky7 start off on attack, which right now has a Capitao and Ashes Ledger banner and a Thermite on it. While the defense for Supremacy is starting in the Tellers and the Archives location.
Tellers Archives. Okay, well that's remember when we talked about how Lucky7 does weird stuff?
I mean, this is Supremacy.
Yeah, I know.
But I don't think
with
this
the
is
relation.
Weird.
Okay, maybe
since
not
Hibana,
super weird.
Bank Basement has become really, really tough to defend.
I mean, it's not an upstairs hold. That's true. But okay, so oh great.
Hey, at least it's not any rounds in, and we can start from 0-0. Supremacy clearly having issues there within the rights to back out and leave the first 15 seconds. So, before we get too excited and get carried away, we'll back out, let them reset things, and get back into their lobby. It is going to be Bank. Talk Tellers Archives quickly.
Okay, so Tellers Archives. Why? Okay, yes, Hibana. Basement harder to defend. She can open up all the drops. But at the same time, you're dealing with that same exact issue on Tellers. You can Buck, bring them upstairs. It's the same exact thing. The only difference is obviously you can't go through it literally, like actually as a person. But it doesn't matter. The rotation is like 5 seconds away. So, in my opinion, it's better to deal with those open drops than it is to deal with a fully open top of your site.
Well, we'll find out what their counter is to that. Do they feel confident shooting up through the holes? Do they have roamers upstairs that they trust? We'll see what it is. They have planks. They've got to have something to do it so confidently. Either way, it will be after the break once we got them all back into the lobby and good to go again. Don't go anywhere, guys. The culmination of this game is just around the corner. retake 2. Supremacy versus Lucky7 here then on Bank. So, Supremacy starting on defense. They are choosing that Teller's Archives again. They're happy to go and do that. They didn't show anything, they didn't reveal anything. And they are now up against the Lucky7 attack. Now, what you're talking about, of course, this top floor being very much
problematic.
Problematic if, you know, you don't have to do a trapdoor, blah, 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 but you do have to deal with a buck that's making the holes in the floor, but they don't have a buck.
Yeah,
so
there's a sledge, but it's not the same thing.
Much tougher, yeah.
Obviously, Lucky7 is expecting a basement defense here. And this is the same sort of, we've seen this mix up, this type of thing before. It's like, just change, do something, anything different than the basement where you need to pick any basement site that is always picked first, whereby, as the attacking team, you need to have both a Hibana and a Thermite, then just pick something else first, because they are going to pick that Hibana Thermite. They're not going to risk it, you know, so give yourself the advantage. There's no reason not to.
Attackers have located a bomb.
So, Supremacy finishing their setups. Actually, an interesting rotate hole through this wall with no further reinforcements yet. And then they rotate into kitchens. Then they're rotating, they're reinforcing here instead. All right, they're going to play very spread out here on this.
They're going to try to control the whole floor, apparently.
Which, to be fair, I don't disagree with. We talked about how defenders now need to be super aggressive. You need to be out there. You need to be in your face.
Right.
But rather than doing that in very exposed positions with spawn peaks and then running back to a very tight spot, start out big, start spread out, and slowly fall back and fall back and fall back. And by the time they get to the site, not going to be much time left in the round if you've done your job right.
Right.
So let's see if it works out that way. Zephyr, ooh, talking about not in dangerous positions right up by spawns. He nearly was, trying to put down the last trophy system. Well, actually, no, he doesn't even have one. Why was he running up to that window? Maybe he was just trying to go directly underneath it. Oh, yeah, barbed wire for it instead.
They are trying to control this area, so they want anyone who's going to vault through that window to be at least slowed down. Hence the hole in the wall there. So if you have a guy vault through the window and they're just going to run by the wall without barbed wire. Although he is now apparently very scared. Going to go ahead and wait as long as he possibly can. There's nobody there.
Scared of a ghost. But he has no way to know. I mean, they might have not killed the default camera. That was a habit that they seemed to get into earlier on. I don't know. No one's looking at it.
Yeah.
It looks like it's dead, but
probably
considering when we saw Lucky7 play on Sterity on Oregon and the default cam stayed alive way too long.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have surprised me.
Okay, well, Jaeger has, instead of putting his barbed wire here, committed himself, his body, to holding this window. And Sengral with a pick onto Prox.
So, Raphael inside the kitchen, very close to Jaeger. Sengral is downstairs in the elevators, checking the camera next to him because he has already killed off that Ash from this very position.
I'm guessing Prox did not expect him to be sitting in that elevator.
Anyone would have expected him to be sitting in the elevator, yeah. And Ericor is now droning down through the trapdoor in open office because he did blow those open and catch sight of Zephyr over by this window not so long ago. Jumps on over, has a look straight down through, finds Zephyr clean in the corner, takes him straight out. So let's spray the hole, switches to his secondary primary because it's a great gun, and looks in towards kitchen.
So Zephyr's noble sacrifice of his body was altered on.
Doesn't quite stand the damage he needs onto Raphael, switches back and reloads his main, steps off again. Raphael stays hidden, but he doesn't hide himself from Bibu that time, and Bibu will take him down, keeping the defense one player up. Skyboo, however, is now upstairs and above. The thermite charge was destroyed. Impact nade up through the hole in top, takes it on out, but then from inside the site, Capital pushed aggressively in and takes down Spark. Now has control of A, and the wall is open with thermite just sitting outside of it. Just around as it takes out Sangor, who was trying to flank. And it's all down to Bibu inside the wrong bomb site. Tags going through. Skyboo is off to one side. Amaze misses a lot of important shots, but Skyboo will come to the flank and not miss. And Lucky7 are once again up around.
That was a great attack by Lucky7, but honestly, I thought it was going to go in the favor of Supremacy. At the beginning of that round, Lucky7 lost 2 attacking operators, falling into the trap that Supremacy had laid. The one major mistake that Supremacy made was they left their Jaeger exposed in printer. Instead of just laying down that barbed wire, he opted to sit there and try to hold it himself in a corner completely exposed. And, you know, given enough time, someone's going to drone you. It's like trying to spawn peek through a window, but you just sit on that window for, 30 seconds. No matter what you do, somebody's going to eventually get to that side of the building. And they're going to get wise to the fact that you're standing in the window. You have to keep staying. You have to stay dynamic, and that's the whole reason that you extended yourself from tellers into cubicles, was just, you know, keep the dynamic, keep moving, and you're not doing that. You make your roaming space, and then you don't use it. It's confusing.
Yeah, I get you. I think just about. Upstairs goes the Prox, then takes out a drone eventually and starts to go through a few trapdoor reinforcements. Missed. Aizen didn't quite land that camera where he wanted it to, and now can't pick it up again. Wanted it on that sign, which I kind of like the idea. Put it on the sign, it already glows blue. It's very hard for people to spot. It's also not blatantly obvious in the middle of the roof.
5 seconds remaining.
This makes a lot more sense as well, as they'll be defending the basement first round. Instead of trying to mix it up and go for tellers or cubicles, they're just going to go ahead and take the hopefully sure win for them.
I like that castle barricade. Oh, followed by mute jam as Aprox was trying to spawn kill out on the front street, but gets his head taken off by Spark.
Nice shot.
This is going to make it a little bit slower for them to get in the back alley now because of the castle barricade and the mute jammer. But Bibu instead just goes up top and goes through Gaia Light, which is going to help even more because Spark is doing this over onto the CEO office, so he's getting straight through. They have control of that top 4 pretty rapidly. They don't 100% know it yet, but there isn't anyone up here from Lucky7, so they're going to be happy with that, and they'll drone it quickly and make their way down towards the bomb sites in just a moment.
And this is the Valkyrie shotgun on the stairs that we've seen so many times before, especially on Xbox, but he's just going to go ahead and fall back into the site. He's opting not to take any risks whatsoever, really wants to secure this round. They are a man down, so if he had been picked off on those stairs, it would have put them at a significant disadvantage.
Yeah.
And it looks like Jaeger was putting some preemptive melees on that castle barricade so he can retreat if necessary.
So, as heads a little bit more aggressively towards server.
I like the way that Lucky's defending this. They're denying server by holding cafeteria, using those reinforcements, and 2 roamers. Actually, 3 roamers. I think there's one playing on the stairs there.
Looks like it. Not anymore. He just got taken out by Bibu. It's the smoke. Skybu is now playing on that staircase. He's got the Capital directly above him, but he does fall down to safety. Amaze is coming up the back stairs now. Minute 10 on the clock. Bibu fighting away. Trophy system's keeping alive. Amaze is looking to come up and try and surprise someone, but they're all in the open office. Aizen is underneath one of the trapdoors, but Skybu is taking all their attention at the moment. But with a minute on the clock to go, he needs to hold them for a long, long time, and there's 5 of them putting this pressure on. They didn't see the camera, so he's not 100% in the dark, but up behind them, Amaze has snuck. 40 seconds on the clock. He's timing his push very, very well. He needs to be perfect if he wants to make this work. Skybu trying to seal things up behind him. The trapdoor right behind him is closed, and Amaze now shows himself, gets 1 kill, gets a second, switches to the pistol, can't get the third, but has done some damage. Taking it from a 5v3 to a 3v2, and putting a spanner in the works as the last 20 seconds hit here. We're riding on board with Sangor, who has the diffuser. He's blowing the trapdoor above servers, but the diffuser is in his hand, and Aizen has a shotgun waiting for him inside the site. Down to the trapdoor he comes, he looks the wrong way. Skybu gets down for that mistake. They dropped in towards B. Spark finishes Skybu off. The planter is inside and going down. Aizen comes around behind now. He's trying to blow the hole in the wall. He's turned the wrong way. Oh, but he did distract the Ash, but she can't finish it off with enough shotgun shells. Does get a good Desert Eagle onto Spark, but the diffuser is down. There's not a lot of health on Aizen now. And Sangorul has 2 weapons to play with. No, he hasn't reloaded the main. He's only got 26 shot in the bearing. Aizen has to get this perfect if he wants to land the damage he needs. The shotgun is fully reloaded. The Desert Eagle is fully reloaded. He's left inside the site. That announcement will have given his position away. Looks towards the back door. Starts to try and tease the diffuser. Thinks about jumping over again. Baits at one more. Sangor comes around and gets down. He's got the defuse. Does he have the time? He's going to hold it. He's going to stick it out. It's 7 seconds here. Not the same as rank. It's also a less bomb timer. Is he going to have it? Yes, he is.
Defenders win.
Right on the button. 35-second defuse time, 7-second plant, and 7-second defuse here is competitive. That could not have got any closer.
And Lucky7 continuing their trend, continuing their victory, continuing the wave. This is an unfortunate showing for Supremacy. All of these rounds are incredibly close, but they're still going in the favor of Lucky7. Now, will we see? Yep, there it is, the basement defense from Supremacy. They have the pulse, they have the smoke, they have the Valkyrie, they're ready to defend against the server push. But are we going to see a server push from Lucky7? Or are they going to simply try and take the drops, as you suggested earlier, what with the Habana edition?
Attackers
And a
need to
good thing
locate
to
and
test and
defuse the
find
bombs
out.
if they can.
I bet they're probably going to do both.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
Yeah.
But let's see if they can do it well. That is the question.
I've been seeing a lot of teams that they've been doing is they've taken Montagne and trying to push in through the garage, but this doesn't really seem to be fitting in. Again, not a lot of Montagne picks on the EU Xbox so far.
As they start to head around upstairs.
Interesting reinforcements. They are on the second floor, covering the people. So I guess they're going to try and roam in cubicles, or hold cubicles, maybe. We did see Lucky7 trying to reinforce the kitchen wall and kitchen door, so that they may defend. So that they may defend server from upstairs. But is that what Supremacy is going to do as well? I'm not so sure.
No. Just checked for a couple of aggressive spawn peaks. No one does it though. However, Prox, having picked up 1 kill on there himself earlier on, he's going to make sure it doesn't happen as a surprise. Zephyr, though, still running around in open office, has a lot of these barbed wire in place this time, not trapped by the printer like he was before. Just trying to find a way forward. Spark down in servers. Sangul still making some holes in towards the B site. And Bibu upstairs in the small office, trying to be that surprise. I don't like playing in there. It is very stuffy and hard to get out of if you get found. But we have Rafael behind you, and you have Zephyr in front of you. Maybe he feels safer.
It's a heavy roam strat, trying to hold above the server to deny the server itself.
So, Rafael edges forward. The drones are still coming around for Lucky7. They are still trying to scout out and find these heavy roams.
As well as the drops.
Yeah, and the drops. Prox cautious about moving into archives. Skybu now at the elevators is going to drone into open office from that end. One of these defenders here in the staircase is also Spark, directly right now underneath Prox's feet. With that shotgun, he's going to be very cautious peeking up the top of that staircase because of the range he has to play with. Bibu in that small office is dancing away from Ezen's drone. Holes in the wall will give some idea that he's there. Rafael inside the front room is splitting Prox's attention. Bibu dances across the gap. Prox sees it there, does fire a lot of rounds off but misses. Ducks away to safety away from Rafael as well. Heads towards the staircase now. He's got the Valkyrie waiting for him inside, but he gets the headshot all the same. Well, not quite head, but still. Gets the body shot and gets the kill without going down, and that's a big, big hold, because now he can be bypassed and go straight down towards the site. Bibu has used the drop to come down. He does come straight out, but he can't get the kill on the Prox either. Meanwhile, upstairs, Zephyr has picked up 2, and that's big before he goes down. 3v2 now in favor of the attacking still, but with the Prox pinned out here on the far side and the smoke still there to keep him out there. Supremacy aren't going to be too worried about that. Oh, and he just got down by Bibu as well. You don't 100% know that, but Bibu's now cautious of the drop above his head. Up in there, and the C4 goes off. Doesn't get the split, but he drops down and can't get the kill all the same, so Bibu will claim him. Amaze is out in servers, and he's going to get the revive on Ash. 30 seconds to go. They are being locked out there, but there's still one more smoke charge to go. After all of that running around upstairs, Finding Room is doing weird things. It is going to come down to a conventional A push. They have downed Bibu on the inside, but the smokes are keeping them out, so the revive might be possible. Sangul's not going to go for it. He's going to focus on doing this alone. Capital comes in. The shots come in from up top. Switches to the shotgun. They finish off one. Shotgun takes one down. Can he get the Ash? He can! Sangul on the button. Stays alive and gets the double kill to get Supremacy a point.
That was an impressive round from Supremacy. They managed to get themselves onto the board. Lucky7 contesting all those roamers, like you said, upstairs, not actually having enough time once they eventually made their way to the server itself. Now, what's happening here is, what happened there is Supremacy, like you said, they had those roamers, they were denying the drops, they were denying the server take by having control of above all of these things. And Lucky7 just didn't, they wasted a little bit too much time actually getting to the point where they could stage an attack on the site itself. And at the end there, you saw they tried to rush in and there's no real options. They didn't give themselves any opportunities to, you know, have any sort of advantage over the defenders.
So the defense for Lucky7 is now going into tellers and archives all over again. 2-1 isn't too devastating. 1 round loss isn't the end of the world. They have done this from here on out, winning 3 on a trot and getting the victory on the last map. That's exactly what they just did. See if they can do the same again. They are bringing a frost trap to the table on a maze here, which is a new one for them. And he's toying with the idea of pulling open their back window, but goes against it. He should have probably done it. Skyboo's coming to try and close it up. Now Skyboo's going to be very, very late, and he's going to take a beating. If that was pre-opened, he'd have been sealed that up and been fine. But Ash decided against it. He dances across and does miss Bibu's head on that sledge. Bibu's now inside this room and very quickly he comes forward. Castle's not ready for that again. Could have been killing him here, but they were not looking. Lucky that he was already low and just not prepared himself. And this whole round is being a bit all over the place. Lucky7 using procs to get 2 kills onto Sangreal and Bibu. Spark will also fall to him. Top of the staircase is Zephyr trying to get the angle. Rafael's gone down. Supremacy are falling like flies now. Ericor gets it. The last man's upstairs. They're not looking up. Look up, man. And Zephyr will be found. Gets the kill on a procs, but now he's alone against 3. With 2 minutes 15 on the clock, he could get this done if he plays it right. Dancing around the skylight. He doesn't have the diffuser. It is down underneath him. Isn't going around the front, going to come into the site. Amaze is still in the site and has eyes on the diffuser. Zephyr does just pick it up though, gets away with it. Ericor, meanwhile, is in the open office area and is going to cover the retake to kitchen. Zephyr has gone inside, he's going aggressive. Asian's in here, he does get Asian down. Then he goes for Amaze, but cannot get that kill. And Lucky7, in a very quick and explosive round, get back up to 3-1.
An attempt at a rush, but only that, an attempt. If Castle had not been in kitchen, I imagine that they probably would have been met with more success. Before they could manage to make their way actually to the archives, which was the point of contact that they were trying to rush, they were found out. Castle told his team that, oh my gosh, 3 of them just ran in through the door, and because of that, there wasn't a whole lot they could have done.
What has to go through your head to think, hey guys, we just won a round, it's 2-1, we're in this, it's close. Let's rush a bomb site. Well, that doesn't inspire confidence to me.
The only thing that they could have possibly been thinking is, okay, they won't expect this. That's it. That's all I can think of is like, they won't expect this. Let's do something crazy. And like you said, most teams, when they're in the confident position, when they won that round, they like to keep the ball rolling by playing smart and winning rounds. But
confident me that's just won a round doesn't think, oh, they won't expect this. Let's cheese them. It's a, we're better than them. We just won a round. We just proved that we can just play our normal game and be better than them. So a rush strat suggests that they're not feeling good about this.
Either A, you're right, and they're not feeling good about it, or B, they're on the next level, which is they expect them to expect us to play smart.
Well, now we're getting way too meta in here.
Yeah, no, but I think you're right. I think they really aren't. They aren't showing a whole lot of. I think that's a lack of confidence, and it stands to reason. They lost 2-0 last time, and they're already down 1 map. It comes together. Even if they won that round, it was one guy barely managed to pull it off. Yeah, with a shotgun at a door, and it could have gone either way. So, yes, I think it was a lack of confidence. But who knows?
Well, we'll find out. Supremacy did have an issue and had to back out. We will be back after a quick break and getting them back into the lobby, continuing this game, finishing this game. And don't forget, if Lucky7 win this, they're on to a rematch with Austerity in the grand final for a chance to go to Canada next month. So don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be back in a moment. Alright, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Supremacy onto defense, once again at the Tellers and Archives location themselves now. Lucky7 back onto attack, 3 rounds to 1. Lucky7 are hungry for that rematch with Austerity. All they need is 2 rounds here to make it happen. Can they do it right here and right now? Well, 5 rounds to 1 was the first map. Will it be the same thing with the second one?
They're in a good position to make it happen. I'm surprised by the Hibana Thatcher pick because they know it's not basement because they lost that basement attack. So they can't, Supremacy can't be going into basement right now. Okay, you don't need a Thermite and a Hibana on this attack. You just don't. And whether you go into Tellers or you go into Cubicles, either way, you just don't need it. You need.
I mean, I'll admit I'm not as averse to it here as I am on some, right? If you're Thermiting here, maybe a Hibana charge here is nice. A Hibana charge is along this wall, and I think they can't hurt, but it's a lot of spread out resources.
Yeah, I was about to say, and on top of that, if you are doing... you can't actually man all of those souls. Like, it would be very difficult for that to happen. And in order for that to be the case, what would need to happen first is Supremacy to not roam at all. And we've seen clearly that that's not the case. They do run roamers on this particular site. So the likelihood of them, maybe they're just playing it for the, like, okay, so one of them dies, so let's just use the other. Maybe that's why they're doing it. But just bring a buck. You know, bring a buck, or maybe even replace Sledge with buck, and then push them upstairs, and allow them to open up that floor so they can play this side.
Well, let's find out how Supremacy hold this one. They've got Sangle downstairs. He's not hiding the elevator this time. He's hiding right there on your screen, that little red silhouette.
Clever. He can see everything that could ever encroach on his position from there. But if a drone happens to catch him and he doesn't notice it, maybe it sneaks in through the room he's sitting in, and camera doesn't catch it, you can get shot through the wall.
So, let's see where they go, where they move to. As the drones are still checking out the floors above and leading the way here for Amaze's Capital to push through the meeting room and the conference room. He is now a little bit unsure where to push and get safe to drone himself. Aizen coming in from outside. Prox sitting downstairs, and well, as you say, he was on the camera from Sangral, who's now obviously off of it because he would be dangerous. Starts to make a move around, looking for where he may be. Prox is about to crouch in just as he pulls his gun away, and Prox will win that fun-in fight because there wasn't even any contest with that.
And that's the fight that he lost last time they won this attack.
Yep. So,
Bomb located by
one
attacker.
defender down. Lucky7 happy with it. Shots rattling up through the floor here towards Skyboo, but won't hit him. He's trying to grenade down through the floor himself, but can't
Trying
quite
to open
get
the floor
holes made
first.
here, yeah.
Buck.
Actually, is the floor below that bit even destructible?
You're pretty sure.
I'm not sure if this room is. I know everything here is.
I'm all but certain. Well,
that one just went through first time. I went through it. Maybe this side. No, it is.
nope,
It is.
it's destructible.
It is. It was just really, really bad in one room and not in the other.
I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah. Prox at the same time has killed off Spa at the back. On his way up from downstairs, and he's actually straight up inside a bomb site now. And that was the bandit that was being hunted by the Sledge the whole time. Rafael does get one in return, takes down Ezen, takes down the Thermite. Rafael, though, flanking from above, has taken a second one out now as well as he gets that guy, the Capital, just inside the room. Ash goes out looking for him. He's behind the other sofa, and Ash will lose that fight. Rafael gets a third. Great flank by him. Ericor has taken Bibu out in return, but Rafael is the only... Sorry, Ericor is the only defender attacker left standing.
This is a bug. He's got his rifle out right now.
Yeah, there's no way he has this gun out, pushing into the site like this.
15 seconds remaining.
Looking to move forward, looking for Rafael inside the other side, but he's flanked by Zephyr and shut down from behind. And a round which started out so well for Lucky7 was saved by a beautiful castle flank.
Yep, and then
to shut down the attack.
Yeah, and then a Jaeger to lock it out. And that was a good example of retake instead of hold. So they're one of the main problems that everyone always gripes about when it comes to Tellers and Cubicles both is so easy to get above and assert dominance as the attacker on the site below, right? Well, in the case of that, like what just happened was instead of putting all their pieces in the site, they spread them out around the site. So when the attackers inevitably established that dominance above, they started pushing in. The defenders, all they had to do was just come from the sides, come from far away, from nowhere near the site, where the attackers don't expect them, and get those flanks and lock out the round.
So as it is now, Lucky7 3 rounds to 2. Have to take stock for a minute or two. Gabriel goes into the elevator. They are going downstairs for their defense.
Bomb located
But
by
reinforcing up here suggests they're going to go for another aggressive hold in open office. And yeah, they've opened up this trapdoor to give them a rotate down as and when they're ready and they're pushed out of the open office in the kitchen itself.
It worked for Supremacy when they did it. It's the first round that they won. Is they were playing aggressive upstairs in cubicles and they fell back at the last minute. But whether or not it's going to work for Lucky7, we'll see. I mean, one thing is that I don't think Supremacy opened up those drops. They may have. I may be mistaken. But even if you are playing players up there and you do take a couple of people with you, having those drops open on basement especially is pretty bad. It's difficult to come back from.
So, Amaze heads towards the backside as Spark goes straight in upstairs again. Rafael's already journeying around up here, and that will give him the confidence to go straight in nice and easy before he then pushes on through the rest of the floor, takes out the default cameras and is joined by Zephyr up top. This top floor is once again in Supremacy's control, but they don't seem to care about this. Lucky7 are okay with letting this floor go, especially when they're defending the base basement. So we'll see how that shapes up. The drone that went down there was picked off, and Zephyr hears it and is aware. So it takes a moment to slow down and look down the staircase before him. Spark is now rotated to the lobby. Bibu is still droning, and Sangru has started to work on the open office area. Rafael checking in the small office and having a look at what's in here. Barbed wire in the doorway, rotate hold to kitchen, smoke running around towards metal detectors, all the easy stuff, you know? And Zephyr is just holding firm at the top of this staircase.
Wasting a lot of time though, only half the round left. No engagement has really been thoroughly fought out yet.
Hibana cracks open the trapdoor in the top of open office. Actually straight back in the middle of the room if you opened that one up. And then goes down to this window to begin punching it. Changes her mind as she realizes it's not one punchable. Starts to Hibana charge it open. Looks for Mute, who wasn't thrown by that drone hole. Steps forward, loses the trophy system to that charge. C4's out, throws it down, but it's not close to anyone. First death though is going to be Bibu. And Maze picks that kill up. Ericor is now being aggressive out the window. Switches up to the trapdoor and will lose the fight to Zephyr, who is aggressively sprinting up and above it. Inside from the back alley comes Hibana, but he will lose that push from Capital using Amaze. And Amaze is now cautious of where Ash may be. Ash is in the room right, wait for it. Hibana was coming through kitchen. Spark goes low, but does get the kill. And it's a 3v3. Supremacy did a good pinch on that room to shut down the roamers.
But the Lucky7 guys have done their job. They have the time advantage and the HP advantage here.
They downed Ash to revive it, get herself back up on 50 health, but the HP advantage is still there. There's a shotgun waiting right inside here for Sangul, so he is just going to put the Claymore down, but that's not going to be in range to see the door. And it means Asian can come out and get him downed. 20 seconds to go. It may have just been enough, especially if they're waiting for it to come back inside for safety. The C4 obviously didn't blow, but now with only 10 seconds in fact, Rafael has to get down to plant. They have to drop inside the smoke. Rafael's taking damage from all sides. And Sky Boot is going in towards the B site. Rafael is already in, tucked around the corner. Rafael, he misses the knife. Whoa. I thought it was going to be a big impact, but there was no time left.
You got sidestepped on, but it didn't matter. The sidestep, again, with no time left is... yeah, pretty much it cost them the round. And that really came down to, again, it's the roamer game we talked about earlier. The first round Supremacy won, it was because they were playing their roamer game well. And even though Lucky7 got in a position to actually take the round in their favor, they couldn't because there wasn't enough time. They had to force themselves to make a stupid play, and it cost them. And it's the same exact thing just happened here. These two teams both proving that sometimes it's a good idea to roam heavy on the basement in mid. Now it's 4-2 in the favor of Lucky7. This is match point, I believe?
It is. It is match point and series point, which would put them into the final against Austerity.
Yep.
Rematch them against Austerity.
Bomb located by
which is obviously exactly what they want. Lucky7, definitely, they were really close with Austerity, especially on that first map. It was a hard-fought loss for Lucky7 and a hard-fought victory for Austerity. And giving themselves a second chance by beating Supremacy here is going to be exactly what they're looking for. But also, I believe that they might be able to win it.
Attackers
I believe that they
recover the
actually,
bomb.
if any team's going to
Attackers
go
are
on
heading
to
out
play
to
Austerity in the
defuse bomb.
finals and win 2
Defender
maps in
is
a row, it's
approaching the
probably
kill
going to
zone.
be Lucky7.
Defender exposed.
Sangro detected as soon as he heads out.
What's the plan?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Fear factor, maybe? Just have them all scared of it, stay in there a little
Waste
bit
some
longer
time,
to...
maybe?
I don't really know. Oh, Prox is sprinting straight down the corridor, and Bibu is right next to him. Did hear him come on in, though. Prox safely backs away just before stepping out too far.
Yeah, Supremacy was the team that rushed earlier, so they're ready for their taste of their own medicine. They aren't having that.
Shotguns being used on the trapdoor from below to help give Bibu a way down if he needs it shortly. Zephyr's up there with him as well.
This is that really open defense meta that we've been talking about for ages. This is the case. This is what happens when you add another operator who can breach open stuff. Is the defenders, instead of trying to hide behind their walls and force their way out and just engage you on even footing.
Zephyr holding a very tight angle through metal detectors. Bibu now checking all the cameras around, looking for what's there. Sangle doing a similar thing from the safety of the B site. Rafael inside the teller's office up front is holding firm as he's undetected, but the trapdoors are starting to get blown. Some holes are starting to be made in the Supremacy defense. Aerocore with them pre-fired down the front staircase before claymoring it, and then moving slowly towards the bomb sites. Sledge has been down here in the lobby by Rafael. He's then been pistoled out.
The calls are misplaced, I suppose, but he gets
Prox,
traded back.
Yeah, as soon as he ran back into the site, Prox is there and shut down Rafael, so they do trade 1 for 1. Sledge at this point in the game for the Bandit. Good trade for defense. Those grenades that he hadn't used are going to be important for getting through last-minute barbed wire. I'd imagine they also would have liked them maybe getting down the staircase here against Spark.
I'm curious, last time Spark fought with this Ash, he somehow lost. Is he going to be able to win this and keep his team in there?
He also has his back exposed through this trapdoor. There is a pulse down there waiting, but it's a dangerous fight to take. Zephyr has joined the bottom floor. Spark is the last most aggressive player we have. Amaze is coming down front staircase. Ericor is droning inside B. Azen's coming this way with the Ash and the Prox, and it does look like they're going for a push onto B. The trapdoor in the front lobby is getting blown open. This is going to nullify both Bibu and Spark if they don't rotate quickly.
Located by attackers.
They're heading back across. She takes some damage from the trapdoor, but she is making her way around there now. Sangreal is inside B and is going to try and hold him off, but with 15 seconds on the clock, it's going to come down to the wire. 4 players above, 4 players below. Smoke charge is going out preemptively. Ericor picks up the first one to Bibu. Iprox gets another one onto Spark. Sangreal's inside the site now with the shotgun in hand. There's a team kill from Amaze onto Prox, but he can't get the shotgun damage. He's not doing enough, and he'll get 1, but not enough. Attackers win, and Lucky7 advance to the final.
That was really close last round. Smoke almost didn't die there in the last couple seconds of the round, and if they hadn't started the plant, it would have been a surprising round for Supremacy.